Everyone in my small town warned me not to ask about my brother. I wish I'd listened. I grew up in a town, so small you could cross it in 10 minutes without speeding. The kind of place where everyone knows your name, your parents, and at least one embarrassing story about you. Where gossip spreads faster than news and nothing ever really disappears, it just gets quieter. My brother disappeared when I was 16. His name was Mark. He was 4 years older than me, quiet, observant, not a troublemaker but not the type to blend in either. He noticed things, questioned things, that mattered more than we realized at the time. The official story was simple. Mark left. That's what everyone said. He packed a bag, got in his car, and drove away. No note, no goodbye, just gone. People in town nodded knowingly when his name came up. Some people don't belong here forever, they'd say. He was restless. Better off not asking questions. My parents accepted it, or at least pretended to. My mother stopped bringing him up after a year. My father shut down any time I tried. I didn't. I tried for years. Calls that went straight to voicemail, emails that bounced back, social media accounts that went inactive. Nothing. When I left for college, I thought distance might help me move on. It didn't. Every holiday, every visit back home, his absence felt heavier. His room was left untouched. His car was sold quietly. His name was avoided. And the town acted like he'd never existed. 10 years later, I moved back. Not because I wanted to, because life happened. Job loss, rent hikes, nowhere else to land. I told myself it was temporary. The first night back, I ran into an old classmate at the grocery store. He went pale when I mentioned Mark. "You shouldn't talk about that," he said quietly. "Not here." That was the first real warning. I didn't listen. After that encounter at the grocery store, I became cautious, but curious. I started asking around, not directly about Mark, too obvious, just casual questions. "Do you remember when Mark used to hang out at the old mill? Didn't he travel a lot after high school?" The reactions were almost identical. Tightened lips, quick excuses, nervous laughter, changing the subject. It wasn't curiosity, it wasn't concern, it was fear. The first real clue came when I visited my old high school. I walked the halls, trying to relive memories, and ended up in the library. A librarian, now retired but still coming by to help catalog old donations, recognized me immediately. "You're back," she said softly, still asking about him. I froze. "About who?" I asked, pretending. "The boy who disappeared," she said quietly, eyes darting to the windows. "Some things aren't meant to be asked, not here." "What do you mean?" I pressed. She shook her head. "People think they know, but really, you never know who's listening, or what they'll do with it." I left without answers, but my mind was racing. My hometown wasn't just secretive, it was protective, or maybe defensive. Something about Mark's disappearance had imprinted on everyone like a warning sign. Over the next week, I tried reaching out to my parents. "Mom," I said one evening, "why didn't anyone really look for him? You barely mention him." Her eyes filled, but she avoided my gaze. "We tried, we did, honey, but people forget. Life moves on." "Forget," I said, voice shaking. "He was only 18. She didn't answer. That night I couldn't sleep. Something was off. Something about Mark, the town, my parents' silence. It didn't add up. I went back to the house he grew up in. His room was still exactly how he left it. Posters on the walls, textbooks stacked neatly, his desk untouched. On the nightstand, I noticed a small envelope tucked under a pile of papers I'd never noticed before. My hands shook as I picked it up. It had no return address, no sender, just my name written in careful handwriting I didn't recognize. Inside was a single note. "Stop asking about him. Some doors aren't meant to be opened." I froze. Someone in this town had been watching me, or at least knew I was looking, and they didn't want me to continue. That's when I realized Whatever happened to Mark wasn't just a family secret, it was the town's secret. And I was about to uncover it. After I found the note, I stopped pretending this was just unresolved grief. Someone was actively monitoring me. I didn't tell my parents about the envelope. I didn't tell anyone. I put it back exactly where I'd found it and started doing the one thing that always makes small towns uncomfortable. I kept records. Dates, conversations, names, reactions. The more I paid attention, the clearer the pattern became. Everyone remembered Mark, but only up to a point. They remembered him being quiet. They remembered him asking questions. They remembered him going places alone. But ask what he asked about, or where he went, and the memories went foggy. It was a long time ago. I don't really recall. He kept to himself. It was rehearsed. I went to the town hall next. Old records, property maps, zoning requests, the kind of paperwork no one thinks matters. That's where I found Mark's name. Not as a person. As a signature. 10 years ago, there had been a proposed land development on the edge of town, something involving the old mill and several acres behind it. The project was rejected quietly. No public meeting, no explanation. One of the objectors listed. Mark. He'd filed a formal complaint. Environmental concerns, water testing discrepancies, missing permits. He was 18. I checked the date. The complaint was filed 2 weeks before he disappeared. That night, someone knocked on my door at 11:47 p.m. I didn't answer. The knocking stopped. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. You don't know what you're digging into. Let it go. The next morning, my tires were slashed. Not all 4, just one. A warning. I finally confronted my father. He didn't deny it this time. He just looked tired. Your brother didn't leave, he said quietly. He found something. My chest tightened. What kind of something? My father swallowed. The kind that makes people dangerous. My father told me the truth in fragments. Mark had discovered illegal dumping near the old mill, chemical runoff tied to a company that employed half the town. He gathered evidence, took photos, filed reports. The town council buried it. The company leaned on the people who depended on it. And Mark, he was warned, then threatened, then silenced. Not murdered, at least not officially. They forced him out. A payoff. A non-disclosure agreement. A choice between disappearing quietly or ruining our family. He chose to leave. He never contacted us again because he couldn't. The agreement was airtight. If he spoke, everything he cared about would be destroyed. In the town, I asked. My father looked away. They decided forgetting was easier. I left 2 days later. I didn't expose them. I didn't publish anything. I didn't play hero. Because here's the truth no one likes to admit. Some systems are built so deep that pulling one thread just tightens the knot. I keep the documents now, copies, backups, insurance. And every few years, I get a message from an untraceable number. Still quiet, good,